Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to a slightly strange video actually. I'm actually going to be coding for you guys using Visual Studio. It's a free thing you can download. I do believe it's free anyway. I got it for free thanks to college. But yeah, so I'm here. I recently have built an app, and I'll show you guys it here. Very recently built it, in fact. That's for my server, for the survival server, which you guys have seen. Link to the playlist of all the videos will be down in the description below. But I can press login. I can put in my username or whatever, so I can do dev, and then MFT dev mode, submit data, connect to server. But it doesn't do anything. Oh, such a shame. Yes, because some users don't have permission, you see. So I can log into mine, for instance. Which, while I log into mine, guys, I'm just going to switch you back to just a black screen so you guys don't see what my password is. Because it's the only problem you see. I haven't figured out a way yet where it won't show the passwords. I do believe there is a way you can do it, but copy. And here we go, guys. Oh, wrong one, wrong scene. There we go. So here you go, guys. You can see it. That is when you get logged in. So yeah, feel free. You can email me on them emails. I probably won't pay any attention. Well, email me on them to emails. I won't pay any attention to it because they're the emails I don't listen to. So it's very good. I can click on people here, so I can click on, for instance, Moon05, otherwise known as Sky. Shout out to her. And I can click and see what her password is for any of these. But oh, Kavat, user not active. Contact MFT for help. Oh, such a shame. There's my little hint to her for her to join the server again. But then I can click on someone else's, for instance. So like, I don't know, Jake's. Oh, user not active. And I can click on something like left password for server 2. No password entered because there's no password for the server 2 one. Same for me here. Obviously, if people log in as their own user, they'll only be able to see their area. This is so I can see everyone's kind of owner, and then you can hit emergency exit and it'll close the entire application down, which is very cool. So, what am I going to build today for you guys? I'm going to hope and try against all odds, because I do actually have some programs I downloaded from my OneDrive at college. So what I'll do is I'll extract them, extract files, and I want to extract them to new volume, VB programs, okay. Right, so all these are the ones I've done for my assignment at college, but inside of here, I do believe is the new one I'm working on. And the new one I'm working on is the program I want to try and change and make work. So somewhere in here I should see, maybe, no, in here. Okay then, so where would I have saved it at college? I have no idea. I hope I did save it. Did I save in the thingies? Controls, test panel. So these are all the testing ones, what my tutor made. And I kind of copied because I lost all my work because of college, but yeah. So what I'll do actually is I'll open up this one here, this test panel, which is the one I was working on before when my tutor was like, no, you need to actually do the assignment, not your own little project. So yeah, serves me right. But it's here, and it does actually, it's an actual decent idea for a program. The idea is, if it loads, it has done. I just had to double click on the form. There you go. It's like a code panel. What'll log you in. That's actually this is actually going to be an easy thing to do now because I know what I did on at college on my other programs to make them work like this. So what I'll do first of all is I'm actually going to move that up to the top corner and shrink down the box size. There you go. See, it looks actually cool now. And obviously if you double click on something in, oh god, I forgot I actually built all this, but if you double click on something in it, if you double click on one of the things inside your form design view, it'll write you the basic code you need. So if I double click on button 2 there, it takes me to CM2, which is a button. So you can name them what you want, but I've named them like CMD. So it's like command enter, command 9 and whatever. All these here don't seem to want to work, but this, I don't even know what that's doing. Call verify code int code. Is this? I think somebody's helped me build this at some point because I can't remember building any of this. Sub, yeah, it's there. So verify code int code a string dim alarm code.
Mic off. Mic on.
Sorry about that, guys. Just had to sneeze then. But yeah, so it check if it says alarm code is that, then it checks if int code is alarm code, then say password accepted, else say password incorrect, please try again. Okay. So setting variables there, me dot text code dot text equals me dot text code 3 and 3. What's that even doing? Because they're not even valid. Ever. You can see there. The top one in red is what it currently is. But and I'll apply the change and see if that fixes it. See, that still don't fix it. Right, what I'll do then is something you can always try and do if you screw something up in programming. I won't suggest it, like, because sometimes it fails miserably, but delete everything. Yeah, there you go. See, it's actually re-adding everything in now, and you can see everything's actually valid as it's adding it, which is good. And you see there the buttons are actually labelled correctly. Yeah, I know my 4 and my 6 are the wrong way around. I've just noticed that myself, so you'll have to let me know if you guys like to see this. But here you go. So there's the program now. So what I need to do is when the program starts. So let's first of all make a variable and we'll call it code. So dim just defines your variable, code as, and then we need to set what we're going to set it as. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try something. I'm going to set it as integer. Whoops. Integer. Because what I'm thinking, I can't open that text document up. One second. That text document's got all my passwords on it for everything. So best not open that up. There we go. Right, so what I'm thinking is say the code's 1, 2, 3, 4. As you enter the code, it'll set the searching one. So I'll might make that the entered code or something as a variable. So say you press 1 to start with. So what it'll do is I need a counter 1 as well. So there's a counter increment. So as soon as you press 1, it'll set counter to 1. And then when you click, then it'll go right. But it'll count as 1 and I've clicked on 1. So what I need to do is I need to times 1 times by 1000 because there's 4 places. I'm thinking this will work. And then that will set it to I don't know, we'll say entered code and we'll make that the variable name. Obviously I know if you for you guys, if you're copying this at home and you actually want to call, make sure you call everything the same if you copy my code. But your program would be something like this. Let's see, I'm going to write it here in Notepad and it's probably not going to work when I paste it in, but we can try. Is 1 times 1000 like that. And then if you wanted to make it a 6-digit code, you'd just add 2 more zeros on it. But I just want a 4-digit code to test it to start with. So that there would be a program for that. Then what you need is you need a if counter, which would be a variable name. If counter equals 1, then do that. Else do nothing and if. For now it'll do nothing, but eventually it'll do something else. So in theory, that there is your thing. So what variables would you need? You need dim counter as integer, and you'd also need dim. I realise I'm writing it in here, I really shouldn't need to do a. So I'll get rid of that bit there, and what I can do then is I can copy that entire bit. There we go. Copy. And I can paste it down here in button 1. Paste. See? Everything's lit up and just green apart from entered code, which is because I hadn't defined it. Which is just fine because all I need to do is copy that. I also need to move this counter dim to outside. Because if it's inside your loop here, so if it's inside of this area, I just realised I deleted it by accident. If it's inside that area, it's only accessible by this sub-program. Because if it says private sub, it's a sub-program. Which means whatever I do here, so if I define a variable here and call it number 1, that program cannot see number 1 unless I put it out here. So if you put it out here as a global variable, put it in here as a local variable. So obviously I want entered code and counter to be a thingy, so I best put it out here. Dim entered code as, and then entered code needs to be an integer as well. So I'd have code, counter, and enter code. I also probably need another one. And what should we call this? Valid code. It doesn't really matter what it's called, as long as you can reference it and you know what it means. Also, if you want to comment on something, so you can put a space after, and then you just press your @ symbol or your upwards symbol like that. Don't really know what, your apostrophe. There it is. And it'll set it to green, which means it's comment, which means the program completely ignores it. So we'll say this is code to access the lock. We'll say that. And then this will numbers breast counter like that. So and you can also see how it formats it for me as well, which is good. And then obviously you can put comments down here as well if you really need to. What was that? Oh, that was entered code, wasn't it? I know that's not how you spell entered. But like I say, it doesn't really matter how you put it in. So what will happen now is we'll read through the program. When it starts up program, it'll start all them variables with global variables because they're outside of any loop. And then it'll start when you click the button, because it's an event handler, which means if you click the button, handle cmd click, then it'll run this program. So it'll first check, is counter 1? So if counter isn't 1, it won't do anything. If it is, it'll get the entered code, which would currently be nothing. It'll set it to 1 times 1000, which 1 times 1000 is 1000. But then in 2, I know this is not going to be a really valid solution for the program, but this is more of a proof of concept for what you could do. There's probably an easier way of doing it as well, but what you do is this will need to be 2 times 100, like that. If counter is 2, because if counter's 2, it'll be the second number pressed. And notice how that's all underlined in red? That's because I haven't put the end if in. So I can just click there and it'll put it in for me. So if counter's 2, and you also know it's pushed that out of the program. So I just need to drag that back into it. I swear programming's half of actually knowing what you're doing and half copy and pasting. So there you go. So now what it'll do is it'll do that. And I can test it at this point. Not a problem, because all I need to do is up here is counter. I can go equals 1 on the end of that. That means when it starts the program, it'll set counter to 1. Which is just fine. So in theory, and also inside of here, I also need to do counter is equal to counter plus 1, like that. So what that'll do is it'll say, right, set counter, because whatever you're setting goes before what you're setting it to. So it'll set counter to whatever counter is plus 1. So if counter's 4, you plus 1 is 5. So that will now be 5. If I press it again, that'll be 5, that'll be 1, 6. And it'll plus it on every time. I just thought, well, you could do that in a calculator, to be fair. To make a calculator program, which I have done, I'll show you that afterwards. But so that is valid. That now would work. all I need to do now is just copy that bit of program. It's not necessary because that's only a bit. And then do that, and then you can press F5 to run it. I think F5's debug mode. I could be wrong. But if you run it there, bing, and now I can press the buttons. And obviously nothing's happening whatsoever because nothing's being shown on the screen. So all you need to do here is underneath here, you need to go, so you bit up here, so that's your panel at the top of your screen, or whatever you named it. So I named it txt code. So all I need to do is go txt code.text, because you're setting it as text value, and as far as I'm aware you need the text in anyway, regardless, equals, and nerd code. There we go. I knew it wasn't spelled right. I can't bother changing it though. So yeah. So now in theory, anytime I press the button, I press that, it's 1000. Press that, it's 200. See how it's setting it though. What I need to do is down here, and you see how it's there again, entered code, setting it to 2 like that, which is a valid thing I could do. But what I need to do is go entered code plus, so entered code equals, let's see, entered code like that. There we go. So that's basically doing the same thing this counter thing's doing here. So if the enter code is 1000, this here will be 1000 plus the 200, which means that will be 1200. So boom, boom. See how it's adding it on now? Perfect. So all I need to do, Ben, is if I really wanted to see it work properly, I can grab the entire statement bit there, which you can copy and paste that just fine. Don't copy and paste your private sub bits here, because they're doing code in the background, and it breaks the program. If I could show you my other program, I would show you. I tried to make noughts and crosses, and I copied a lot of the private subs, and yeah, it broke the program. But we'll do 4, and obviously you could do this a lot easier as well, by figuring out what number is being pressed and then setting it appropriately. But for me, because I know it's thingy, I can just do 4 like that, because I know 4 with the last number on it regardless. So, and then 3 like that, I set it to 10, set back to 3, set back to 3, and there you go. So in theory, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See? Perfect. So it does work. That program does work. It is making it's making it say 1, 2, 3, 4, which is what you want. But what if you wanted it so in as thingy like that, where it has to be that position or that position? Well, that's where you can make use of counter again. Because if you think about it, every time you press that, by default counter's 1. What if you made by default counter to be 1000? Like that. Then you plus 1000 onto the counter every time you press it. That'll mean that when you press that, it'll go counter. Which, in theory, that'll make no difference whatsoever to the program. That'll still say 1000. Oh, but it isn't. Yeah, because count is not valued to 1 anymore. If I set that to 1,000, I push the button, it's 1,000. I push 2, oh, nothing's happening now on any of these. Well, and these didn't do anything anyway, but notice how they aren't doing anything now, because it's still looking for value 2, 3, and 4. So how can I fix that? And obviously these are still looking for the old thing. So that is working then. But what if I don't want it to be as thing as that? So you can keep that as 1 and keep that as 1 because it's the first number pressed. Fine. What you can do actually is get rid of the if statement. I've just realised you can just get rid of the if statement completely and make it a little bit better, because now what it'll do is anytime you press that, it'll get the entered code, which is currently, well, would be nothing, and sets it to 1 times whatever the counter is. So 1 times 1 is 1. Fine. Then it'll plus 1 to the counter. Then it'll set the display. Then down here, if I press that, it'll get the entered code and set the entered code to 2 times 100, which should be 200. Which, okay, but hold on a second, I'm timesing it by counter. What if I set that, instead of timesing it by counter, I make a new variable up here and I call it dim, and we call it times count as integer. Then what I can do is I can say this starts off as 1000, like that. So it sets it to 1000 as soon as the program starts. Okay then. So here, instead of timesing it by, oh, right, it times it by times count. Then down here, because you know you're pressing that as position 1. Oh, but you don't, do you? See, this is where it gets complicated for all these. It's probably an easy way of doing the program, but obviously I'm not that smart to figure it out, so I'm mostly winging this program and seeing what happens. Entered code is set to 1 times whatever times count is. So if that would be 1000. So that would work still the same. So that program would work the same, but it's changing that to 100, 10, and then 1, depending on what the thing is I need. So what I can do is I can say put an if statement underneath here, and every single one will need this if statement, to be fair, probably before the main program itself, so it knows. So go if times count equal to 1000. No, I need if count. If counter is equal to 1, which means it's the first button pressed. Then do that, which is just fine, because that'll work just the same then. That's exactly how it was before. But, because I know it's a first position now, I can now go underneath here and go times count equal to 100. So it'll set it to 100, ready for the next position. But what if I press, say, a number 2 first, instead of that? Well, currently it won't do anything. Well, actually no, if I press 2 at this point, it will actually do stuff, but if I pressed 3, it wouldn't. So then I can put that as times count, like that. And then if I actually run the program, you guys can see what actually happens. 1, 2, that works still the same. 3 still works the same. And 4 still works the same. That's because it's still setting it as them values, and counter's still the same and everything. So all I need to do here is go times count times count, like that. So that would work then. What I need is, if I know that that's the second one, and I know that's the third one, be like that, because that's count as equal to 3. So what you'd do is you'd have 1, 2, 3, and 4 in each one of these. So you count a 1, no, it's count a 2, no, it's count a 3. Oh, yes it is. Right, do that. So basically, whatever the counter would be, you'd have your own position value. And if you would say if counter is larger than 4, set counter to 1, and then that would restart the thing, and obviously clear out anything what's already been entered, and basically set all the variables back to what they should be up here, which would basically be 1 and 1000. I hope that all makes sense for you guys. But obviously times count there, so that's like that, and that's like that. All I'm missing here now is currently the if statement, which is just fine. Just copy and paste the if statement. Top bit there, and I just change just change what it's looking for there. So that's now looking for counter 2. And I can right click and go quick actions, add the end if in, and then drag that into there and say times count equals 10, like that, because it's the second one, so it needs to be 2 decimal. Yeah, no, that would be right, yeah. So basically, if I do that now, F5, not F4, if I was to run the program, it would still work just the same. Oh, why is 4 setting it to 1? So where it sets it is here. So it's entered code, plus 3 times 1. Well, whatever that is, times, no, that's 3, yeah, here, 4. Ah, you see, you're just adding times count, you're not actually adding a number. So I need to go plus 4 times count. Like that, and now that'll work. I wonder how many of you guys actually saw that mistake. Yeah, see, now it works. And obviously as well, if I was to run and I was to type 2s and stuff in before, you see, it does still work as that, but it's not what I'd want, is it? So what I'd do is, instead of, what you can do is else if statements allows you to do something else. So counter equals 2, like that. And obviously one of the buttons will have to be 1 to start with.
Powering off. Powering on.
Sorry about that, guys. I think my headphones are dying.
Battery low. Mic on.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. It's actually quite loud. I have to lower that in my setting before I next start recording. But yeah, so what you do is you check if counter's 2 there, and then you'll copy that bit in, you'd paste it, but instead of setting it to that, you'd set it to that, like that, which means now, in theory, I should be able to go 1, 1. Oh, you're not working though, are you? That will be because they need the times count, which is
Powering off. Powering on.
right.
Battery low. Mic on.
Sorry about that, guys. It's really loud. I'm gonna end the episode here. Let me know if you guys like this. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, etc. And I'll see you in the next video. By the way, I'm starting a modded survival slash creative series very soon. So let me know if you guys want to see that. And if you want a link to the mod pack, just let me know. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.